Sorry. Today we're playing Minecraft again. I didn't have a good intro in mind, so I just said, why not do that? Today we're playing Minecraft again. And today is Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday, right? I'll be lost in the days because it be how to be. Kitty, I feel like Kitty knows every time that I start a video to do this. She only does that whenever I start a video. Where do I start? First of all, I want to do a little check-in on you guys, because I feel like I don't do that. I only talk about myself. How are you guys doing today? You know, this might be the first time that you ever watch me, so you're confused as to what the hell I am, who I am, and why is Kitty doing this. I just make videos. I'm a fool on the internet, making videos, talking about my life. I'm not gonna edit these videos very much, if at all. You know, it's just me yapping. Just me yapping. It's like my own personal diary in the form of a YouTube video where my cat just doesn't leave me alone. And now I can't grab. Hold on, let me do this. Alright. And that's what I do. I yap. I had two topics in mind, and I think I'm going to talk about one of them today, and then the other one tomorrow. Ow! Wait. Oh my god. I hate these, bro. Because I'm so stupid. Alright. Soon I will have... I forgot to look it up. I was going to search up how to keep them trapped. Dude, can they open gates? I don't think they can. Because I don't want them to escape. Oh, no. I'm going to do that. I don't really have much to do. I didn't really think about it. I think I might go mining again. Mining away. Kitty, why are you biting me? Ow. Why are you biting me? How do I... Dude, I completely forgot how to close this. There we go. My brain just died there. Let me put the emerald here. Because they're precious. Precious metals, right, Kitty? Right? Precious metals. I really want to play this properly, Kitty. Please let me do this. Alright. Today's video topic, Boatman, is peer pressure. Now, I'm pretty sure we all have at some point experienced peer pressure. Some at different levels, just depends. Sometimes pressure from your own family. It's just how it is. Right? Family be like, yo, be a lawyer. I'm like, who in our... Well, not mine, but like... You think to yourself, well, who in our family has become a lawyer? Why should I be the first one? But even then, what was that? But even then, if you come from a long line of lawyers, why should you follow in their steps? I mean, it might be easier. But I mean, easier since you have resources and people to recommend you. But if that's not what you want to do in life, that's not what you want to do in life, right? But peer pressure comes in many different ways, such as being peer pressure into doing things that you don't want to do, like drinking, smoking. You know what I mean? Sometimes even worse things, you know. But that's not. I mean, I haven't related to that, you know, certain stuff like that. But of course, there's people that always wanted me to try certain stuff, and I was like, no. You know, admittedly, I was a bit kind of insufferable back then in the sense that I had this like ego, this like, Kitty, my arm is getting tired. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm literally like, let me. I don't want to edit this. Whatever. Let me show you exactly how. Look, I'm playing like this. Don't mind the water bottles, okay? Look, this is how I'm playing right now. Yes. You're chunky. Respectfully, though. Because I'm fat, so I can't say much. But yeah. Actually, my arm is getting tired. Right, Iron Golem? But yeah, peer pressure. Like, I'm gonna peer pressure you guys right now. Subscribe to this channel, or Among Us won't visit you at 3. I don't know, I ruined that. Among Us won't visit you at 3 a.m. Do people still make Among Us videos? like those kind of videos. I do watch Simon Among Us though. That is pretty funny, right, Boatman? Boatman, I peer pressure you into getting into that boat. No, but dude, I just want to skip this day. Oh my god. People get peer pressure very often to do things that they don't want to do, right? It's a very simple concept, really, you know. Where I come from, a lot of people, you know, they smoke that booth, that Mary Jane, that Joanna, if you will. It's just common here, and I'm sure a lot of people, if you are a certain age, I guess, watching this, you probably do as well. Yeah, you know, you're like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, right? I personally don't care either, which is what you do, right? Hold on, let me. Yo, sheep. But a lot of people definitely, I think people pick up on bad habits, or bad stuff like alcohol and stuff like that at a young age. Again, I don't know how it is for you guys, but where I come from, it's common. Like, you know, when I was in high school, people will have parties and shit, and or they will go to places that they shouldn't be at, and drink or smoke and stuff like that. And again, it's just kind of how it is where I've come from. And I think people quickly realized that I wasn't gonna be part of that. And yeah, I went from being like, I want to say cool. I was never cool, but okay with people to like, you know, not being friends with them because they just saw me as an uncool guy that wouldn't like be around, you know. Which again, it is what it is. And like I said, I was a bit insufferable because I had like a bit of an ego. So I feel like if I just played it off like, you know, I ain't trying to do that. You know, it would have been cool, but I was like, hell no, you will never see me doing stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? I regret being like that. I probably would have still been cool with people if I just said, nah, it ain't for me, bruh. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Can go back in the past. But yeah, I mean, I would have some people that would just be like, yo, you gotta do it. You know what I mean? It's just like, how do I put this? It's also not even like the pressure sometimes. Like, they're pressuring you. It's more of like, it's more of like you want to fit in. So it's almost like you kind of pressure yourself into doing something, right? It's already nighttime. Yo, let me go to sleep. What? Bruh. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Boatman, can you believe that? I actually have no idea what to do. Well, kind of want to go to sleep so then I can travel, and because I actually want to start mining again to get more iron because I don't have a lot anymore. I've already wasted it all. So I'm just waiting for it to become nighttime so I can continue with my travels, if you will. I'll keep working on the He Who Shall Not Be Named bed. I think that's why my last video flopped. It's because I said his name on the video. The Lur. I'm gonna just say Lur. You can fill in the gaps. Alright, can I sleep now? Yes! And yeah, I'm trying to be kind of vague too, with like, cause it covers a lot of things, you know, like peer pressure and all that. And I'm trying to like, I don't want to just be specific on some things, but also some things have different reactions. Some people fall into bad habits or they get in with the wrong crowd because of peer pressure. You know, like I said, for me, you know, I've always kind of had this ego in my head that kind of kept me away from that. And I see it as a good and bad thing because I feel like I could have still been cool with people if I just said, it ain't for me though. You know what I mean? And I could have still been around, but it was almost like I looked down on them. Again, it's on me for thinking that way. But it's like I looked down on them and I was like, you see, like, oh, he does this at a young age. Wow, what a loser, right? Even though I was pretty much the loser. But I mean, because I already had pretty low self-esteem, it's like the only thing I mentally had over them in the first place. So I'm not excusing it. It's just, Katie, what are you doing? I ain't excusing it, but it's more of a, you know, that's why I did that. You know, again, stupid for me to do that, but it is what it is. Let me do that. Yeah, I need to have that. Okay, should I craft? I might craft an diamond pick. Huh. Do I have enough diamonds? I should have. Let's see here. Yes, I do. Should I do diamond armor? I don't know. Also, our sword's good. I just usually use an axe. It works pretty good, I guess. All right, I don't need shears here. Oh, food. I can make bread. Yeah. Okay. That's probably what I'm gonna need. A bed to skip the night and stuff like that. Okay, cool. Let's go on a journey. But yeah, what are you doing, kitty? You know, I'm trying to think of like more examples, but really, like, I can only give you like guys the examples of like, you know, I guess also like, I don't know if you call it peer pressure. I guess it is. You know what I mean? I was thinking more it would be different because it's family, but you know, like people forcing you to be something that you don't want to be. You know what I mean? Or feeling like you have to stay in one place or be with like certain kind of people or be with, you know what I mean? Like, one of the things that I appreciate with my family is that they never pressured us into doing stuff that we don't want. What the hell? What kind of chicken are you? Keep in mind, guys, like, I hadn't played Minecraft for years until I picked it back up not long ago. What the hell? How do I throw it? Oh. What? You look like me. Bro looks like me without my hat. For that, you have to donate. Actually, like and subscribe. If this video gets 10 likes, I will reveal my hair, which I haven't done. I haven't done that. I will do a hair reveal. If this video gets 10 likes, that's it. It's easy. Just like it. Bah. You feel what I'm saying? Ooh, a black sheep. This can only mean good things. Okay. But yeah, so I'm really happy that like my parents never forced me and my sister to like do certain stuff, especially like also with another black sheep. I thought they weren't coming. That's crazy. Are they coming? Or did I just get really lucky there? And then someone's gonna make a video like top 10 times somebody found a rare thing in Minecraft. Number 10, Kami finds. What is this common? Hold on, what's going on here? What's going on here? What was I trying to say again? I don't remember. We never got forced into doing things that we didn't want to do. You know, like interculture, it's kind of common for like, you know, people to be like, okay, at this age, you have to get married and leave the house. Go get your own family. But like, my parents are just like, yo, you know what? You believe in what you're doing right now. Okay, really grind it out. And you can stay here. You know what I mean? Like, I have that luxury. You know, my parents aren't like, yo, the fuck at the house. You know, maybe they probably should have, so I lock in more, but I'm locking in right now. If you haven't watched the last couple of videos, I have a routine. I'm not gonna re-say it, okay? So my bad. Probably watch the last video because I think that one is really important. Not really, but it's more of like, if you really care about me and my routine and what I'm doing to lock in, the last video is the answer. Kitty, oh, you okay? You okay? Don't. Why are you trying to walk through there? You could just walk on the side. My bad. You okay? And now you're biting me. You're pinning the blame on me, and you're hurting me. Like, there's pain that I'm receiving from you, and for what? Because of your stupidity? Ow! Look at that. You guys seen that? It's an abusive relation. No, I shouldn't say that. That sounds weird. You're abusive. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. You know, our parents never forced us to do that, so you know, they were never like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, you know. And again, I'm not saying that if my mom or dad said, yo, get a job, like, they wouldn't be in the wrong. I get that, you know what I mean. I tell my parents, yo, at any point, if you guys are like, all right, you did what you had to do, now it's time that you know what I mean, actually go live a life. and go outside and get a job, make money. Well, I do make money from like music and beats and shit like that, but like we're talking about like real stable job. Kitty, what? Oh my god, what are you doing? Why are you biting stuff, bro? Are you teething? You're too old for that. I told him at any point, if you're like, hey, get the hell out of the house, I will do it, because that makes sense, right? She dropped it, whatever. You know what? It is what it is. At least it wasn't my AirPods like yesterday. One time she dropped my AirPods, and I couldn't, I wasn't in my room, so she was probably like playing around with one of them, the main one I used, which is the right one, and I couldn't find it for like 3 days. And I was thinking, I was like, could she have ate them? But I'm like, no, because it's too big for her to just swallow it, right? Like it's the Gen 2 or 3. I don't like the white case. Not like a recent one, but it's like I had it for 2 years now. That one's, and I'm like, I don't think she would eat those, right? Like at the very least, she'd probably bite it and stuff and break it. And I cleaned my entire room and everything, and I couldn't find it. And I was really confused. I was like, what's going on here? Well, eventually, right, I thought to check my closet. So my closet has like a little like opening at the bottom. Like it's not the door is kind of weird. I don't know why it's a bit open at the bottom. I'm trying to walk, it's not letting me. And I checked it. I didn't find it. But to be fair, at this point I had already been searching for hours, so I wasn't really doing a thorough check anymore. The next day, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try one more time. I open it and I immediately see it down there. So yep. Moral of the story: cats love playing with AirPods. Talking about playing with AirPods, actually, that's not gonna go anywhere. Is this a cave? I'm trying to find a cave. Talking about caves, I don't have torches. You know, so I am in a good position, or I'm in a blessed position where my parents are not like pressuring me. I'm sure a lot of you guys have that, you know. And again, I do get it. If I was a parent, I want my kid to do good for the. That was weird. Sorry about that, guys. They cut for like a second. But yeah, a lot of people fall in with bad crowds and do bad stuff. And I'm not gonna be one of those guys to be like, oh, you can't do drugs. Actually, no. You shouldn't do drugs, but like certain things, like, you know, smoking that, you know what I mean, or drinking alcohol. Again, I used to essentially look down on people that did that, and then recently I've been drinking a couple of times, not as much. You know, I'm old enough. I'm 22 years old. You know, I'm just running around endlessly here now, but obviously as I've gotten older, I realize people will do things for different reasons. But mainly, I'm just here to tell you guys that you shouldn't allow people to tell you what to do with your life and how to, you know, how to live, really. You know, sometimes you want to please other people, whether it's like your family or like a relationship or friends. You know, you want to be part of the crowd and you want to be cool, and stuff like that. But honestly, just live for yourself. Like, enjoy what you want to do in life for yourself, right? Because I mean, for me, right, again, I told my parents, hey, at any moment, if you guys are like, yo, you need to actually go out, I will do it, because that's fair on them. You know, I don't want to be living off of them. But if when it comes to like a relationship or like any friendship, I'm not gonna allow any of my friends, not like they would, because I have good friends, but I'm not gonna allow them to say, hey, you should stop doing that, or hey, I don't like that you do this. Like, unless it's hurting them, which I would never do anything to hurt them. You know what I mean? At least not intentionally. And if I do mess up, because I have messed up before, I would apologize. But I mean, like, with this content and stuff, I'm not hurting them. You know, I'm just making content. I'm doing music. I'm doing stuff like that. All of that, it's for me. And, you know, now that I'm finally locking in and doing it every single day, like, as soon as I'm done recording this video, I'm gonna go into training my voice. You know, this will be probably the most consistent I've ever been with that, ever. And if I do it for the whole week, it will probably be the first time that I complete a whole week, you know, where I wake up early, work out, shower. Well, I mean, shower daily, but you know, shower. I'm not gonna count the videos because they're just. What did I just hear? Was that the sand? I don't know. Sand made noise. Hell no. I don't want to get touched by the sand diddler. I gotta go to the restroom. That means I would have to do 2 cuts in a video. Should I peer pressure myself, guys, to go to the restroom? No, I have a resilient mindset. No, but like, all jokes aside, you know, you do whatever you think it's right, but don't let people decide for you. Just know that every decision that you make is of your own, right? And that you, I mean, again, in life you will have regrets. That's gonna be common. But just know that don't ever fall into a bad crowd and say, "Oh, it's because I felt I had these people around me." You have to take responsibility for your actions as well, you know. So if you do bad things, you know, I've done a lot of bad things in my life, and some of them was peer pressure, like, you know what I mean. Not like terrible things, like where I would get arrested for them, but things that I look back on I'm like, damn, I really got the karma from that. You know what I mean? Like, one thing that I never forget, and again, this is just me trying to be cool with the cool kids. When I was younger, it was in middle school. Not to excuse it, of course, but you know, it's not like I wouldn't do that now. But I remember one time there was this kid, you know, there's this white kid, only white kid in our class or school really that I knew about, and just nobody liked him. You know, again, come from the hood, nobody liked him. I think you can probably figure out why. And I remember just trying to like be cool, like he was just talking, and I again he wasn't even an asshole. Like even after that, he wasn't bad. And then I remember because of how people were treating him, I thought it would be funny to like grab his seat and just like essentially like him alongside his seat and just drop him. And you know he didn't do anything about it. Appropriate reaction would have been to like beat my ass or at least you know get into a fight, and he didn't do that. And like I still look back at that and I'm like, I really wish at the time I was mature enough to say, hey, that was fucked up of me, I'm sorry. And even he didn't have many friends, and I really wish at the time I said, yo, that was on me, fuck these people, I'll be your friend. You know what I mean? I wish I could have said that. I wish I could see him again and be like, yo, you probably don't even remember, but I did that. Right? Hold on, creeper. Oh man. Hold on. That's 2 creepers. Hold on. I wish I could have like go back and be like, yo, you know, I was a terrible person. I'm sorry. You know, I wish that you can forgive me. You know, I don't know. I really want to at some point. And yeah, you know, I did that for the sake of the laughs of other people, and at the time what I considered my own fun. And that was at the expense of somebody else. I'm obviously not the victim here. I'm just saying like it sucks that I was that I look at that and I'm like, wow, you know, I really was a terrible person. You know, I know in a lot of these videos I talk about, you know, holy shit, holy shit. Oh. No. This is not how I go. 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 No. Okay. Holy moly. Holy moly, I almost pissed myself. Because I really had to go to the restroom. There we go. There we go. That's all I need. That's all I need. Holy shit. Okay. I'm not ready for this. Holy moly. Why are there so many mobs in here? How do I even get out? You know what? The old-fashioned way. We climb up. Oh, shit! Oh, damn! Life is not good, bro. Alright. Okay. The old-fashioned way. We climb up. Do I have my shovel? My handy-dandy shovel? I really have to go to the restroom. Alright. But yeah, I was a terrible person. And what did I get? Nothing. You know, at the end of the day, I humiliated somebody. And for people that didn't even care about me after a while. You know what I mean? That's how it is. People that I don't call friends no more. Right? So sorry, I'm just kind of just thinking about that. Like, I really do regret that time, and I wish that I could have looked at that and understood that I was doing something bad, you know. But I guess I just wanted to fit in so bad, and by doing that, I did that, right? That's just kind of how it is. You know what I mean? I wish one day I could see him again, and be like, yo, bro, my bad. You know, I was a terrible person for that. So yeah, you know, after that, you know, after middle school, we grew up. People started partying. You know, I started to obviously like I was like, no, I'm not gonna be part of that. I'm not gonna do that. I was a bit, like I said, I was a bit of an asshole when I would say like, hey, I ain't finna do that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't believe you guys are doing that. You know, that I lost friends because of that. But it is what it is, right? Here I am now. It's taking a while to go up. Holy moly, what the hell? What's going on here? Why is it taking a long time? Imagine, wouldn't it be funny if I was in a mountain? I could very well be in a mountain. Which would then be funny because it's probably gonna take a while for me to get out. Oh, cool. Yay. Watch me fall into lava just for trying to get coal. Alright, I think I might leave it here because... And then just... Whenever I start the next episode, or the next video, sorry, tomorrow, I should be out of this cave. I'll do that beforehand just so you don't guys have to witness this boring stuff. I'm not perfect, guys. I'm not a good person, and I've said this before. I think I have a lot of flaws that I want to fix. You know, I know I talk a lot about like getting better and improving and being better as a person, but a lot of these things I'm also saying it for myself. And oh, whoa, oh shit, oh damn, okay. And a lot of these things, you know what I mean, because of these videos, I've grown to believe, which I'm glad. But yeah, there's a lot of things that I've learned in the hard way. But I've always, at least one thing is true, that I've always kept myself and my, like, the better, like, what's the word I'm looking for? I put myself number one. You know what I mean? And because of that, I didn't fall in with the wrong crowd as I got older. You know, sure, I lost friends, but at the same time, you know, I am who I am now because of the decisions I took. Some bad, some good. And, you know, I've apologized to a lot of people for a lot of bad things that I've done. And I understand that something that we're going to talk about in tomorrow's video. A little hint. We're going to talk about the separating art from the artists, you know. And it's like, I can apologize, but I understand that people are not forced to forgive me for bad things that I've done, right? It's, you know, at the end of the day, this is what it is. Like, as long like I make my peace, and by apologizing, that's the best I can do sometimes. Just apologize, be like, hey, I was this kind of person, my bad. And it's up to them whether they forgive me or not. And I can't judge people if they don't. You know. That being said, that's the end for today's video. I will say this every single time I close out a video. If you have a dream, chase it. Time is moving fast. It's gonna leave you behind. And you're gonna regret the time that you didn't spend locking in. Do it. You can make it happen. Believe that you can make it happen. Say it every single day to yourself. I can make this happen, and you will. Just like me. For 2 weeks, I said I can make this happen, and here I am. Like the third week, I'm doing more work than I ever had, just in 3 weeks. So believe you can make it happen. I believe you can make it happen. I want you to make it happen. You know, genuinely do it. Practice. Practice makes perfect, or at least you can never get to perfect, but practice will make you better. So do it. You know what I mean? In life, you're gonna mess up. You're gonna encounter people that will try to force you to do bad things that you don't want to do. But just know what's right for you. Follow that path. Don't be a follower. Be the leader of your own story. Don't let people lead your story. You lead your own story. That's how it is. I have to pee really, really, really bad. I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day.